Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so I have a bit of a cold, so I do apologise if the quality is lower than the, very high standard that I produce. Anyway, so, one thing, if you're getting started into wargaming, you go onto social, I've said this before, you go onto social media, you go on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, and everyone's showing off their models. You see them in White Dwarf. And you're just getting started, and you're going, oh my god, that's so fantastic, it's brilliant, it's well painted, I'll never reach that standard. The thing is, you don't try to reach that standard. I'm not saying don't try and do as well as you can, because you should. You should always give your all to anything you make and produce. And with wargaming is one of the best hobbies in the world. It just does everything that the brain needs to do. You have a very creative side. You have building, painting, and then you've got the very logical side, tactical thinking, numbers, maths, and everything. It's such a good hobby for your brain and your body, and just for mindfulness as a whole. And there has been a study showing that it's good for mental health if you enjoy the hobby. I always have to add that bit. It's good for your mental health if you enjoy the hobby. But when it comes to painting, and this is one thing I really want to sort of talk about. Like I said, you see these pictures of people who paint on Instagram and on Facebook, or you follow painting tutorials on YouTube, and you're going, oh, I'll never get that good. One, don't put yourself down, but don't aim to be at their level, okay? Aim to be at your best level. At the best you can be. You're not that painter. You're not that person painting those minis. You are yourself, and you'll find your own way of painting. I tend to do a very sort of grimy and dirty look to all my models. I like to have them look like they're actually in a war. It doesn't matter if it's Wild West Exodus, my Kings of War, or anything. I always try to give them a dirty look, because that's, to me, is what I think they should look like. But that's my style. That's the way I paint. That's not to say that's how you shouldn't paint. If you want to go down that route, that's fine. But find your style. And this rolls into, who are you actually painting for? As I said, wargaming is a great hobby for mental health. And it is. It's a fantastic hobby. But if you're going out of your way to paint, to post it on Instagram and Facebook, or all of that, then you're probably going to upset yourself more than it's necessary. What you need to do is paint for yourself. Paint your models for you. They're going to be on your shelves. They're going to be looking at you the most. They're not going to be always on the table. They're not always going to be up on Instagram and everything else. You're not going to be always posting them. The more you see them is when you're looking at them. And that's how you should look at this. These models are for you. They're for your part into the hobby. This hobby is your hobby. This hobby is my hobby. But they're two different hobbies. Even though we are doing the same thing, we're both playing war games, but you're doing it your way and I'm doing it my way. As I said, with building an army, you build an army to suit you, not to suit anyone else. You don't build an army for someone else's play style or theme. You build an army for your playstyle, your theme. You do it for yourself. And the same goes with painting. You've got to do it for yourself. And have this way where when you see that final model finished, you'll go, wow, I did that. I built this model. I painted this model. And now it's there on the shelf. It might not be great. My painting, I say this all the time, my painting sucks. And I've been doing this for 30 years. And it's still bad. And to be fair, I do find some models tend to turn out better if I really like the army. My warrior nations tend to be my best looking models, by far. But things, and that's the thing. When you put a lot of love into it and you find something that you really, really enjoy, and you go, do you know what? This is my favourite faction. Warrior Nations are not just my favourite Wild West Exodus faction. They're my favourite faction overall. They have beaten the Eldar, who I've collected for 30 years. They've beaten the Dark Angels and the Blood Angels. Even things like the Spires, which I really enjoy the Spires lore, and I can't wait to actually start painting them. But I don't think they're going to beat the Warrior Nations as my favourite faction, because everything I do with that faction I enjoy, and painting is one of the few factions I really do enjoy painting. It can be very quick to paint some of these models, and that's the thing. See, I don't paint these models to show off. I don't go to my wargaming club and go, hey, look at my models, aren't they great? It's like, I'll go to the table, I'll put my models down. If they want to comment on them, great, let them comment. If they think they're rubbish, if they think they're good, fine, I'll accept this. But I've painted them for myself. It's been for my enjoyment is why I paint these models. And this is because like I said, it's because I look at them, and that's how you should do yours as well. When you put them on the table, you should be proud that you achieved that. You should be happy that you've done that. That is that's your army. That's your hobby. And you've owned it for yourself. And that's one of the things I do want you to take away from this, is that you own your hobby. You own it. Everything you put into it should be about you and what you've put into it. If someone disses your army, don't take it personally. They're talking about the army. If they are dissing the company, don't take it personally. They're dissing the company. They're not attacking you. If someone picks up your model and says, do you know what? Here's some hints with yellow or blue or green. Listen. Okay, just take the advice and say, okay, thank you very much. But you obviously going to get some people going, go, that's shit, right? Just don't listen to people like that. If people are just going to criticize without any help, that's not even criticism, that's just being an ass. But someone criticizes, says, look, your model's not very good, but, and then they add that but, they're usually going to tell you how to improve it, how to make your model look better, and listen. Because you can still use your style and the way you paint your model. You're just taking advice on how to apply paint better, and that's it. They're not telling you how to use your style or use their style or what they do. They're just saying, look, this is how I make my yellow look good. The way I make my yellow look good is I use a flesh wash as an ink, because it makes the yellow pop. And that's what I do. And that's, like I said, and the flesh wash also gives it that dirty, grimy look, which I do. And that's what I think you should. When you're painting, paint for yourself. This hobby, everything is yours. And just go forth with it. With that, my friend Maka at the Outer Circle is doing the Better Game initiative. This is a fantastic initiative to get into, because it's about painting your army and playing with your army, actually doing the hobby itself. And I'm probably wrong on this, so he'll shout at me anyway. And so what you do is you start. There's 3 levels. It's character, squad, army. You've painted your first character. That's your level 1. You've painted your first squad. That's level 2. You painted your full army. That's level 3. I do need to discuss with him what about skirmish games, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and it's well worth applying. So subscribe to the Outer Circle. He's gonna hate me for that. But yeah, go subscribe to the Outer Circle, watch his videos. He's a good guy, he's a fantastic chap, and I think he's got something good going on here, and it's really going to help the community. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching today. I'm sorry about my horrible voice. I probably sound more like a nerd than I ever have in my life. And I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget, link to Wayland Games if you wish to save money on paints as well, by the way, and models and wargaming stuff, and free delivery after £20. There is also Forbidden Planet for all your cool geeky merchandise, your comics, toys, plushies, all that cool stuff. There's my merchandise, t-shirts, cups, all my artwork. There's my comics as well. I'm going to finish this up because my throat's going. There's also Skyforge. Don't forget Skyforge, always give them a click. And finally, there is Patreon, because business. Bye bye.